The reason why I shifted into Bitcoin, like we're a agnostic pre-accelerator platform, become the longest running in China, but then we did a hard pivot out of China, and we no longer we're agnostic within Bitcoin, but we became very focused on Web3 Bitcoin, right? And the reason for that is because just what China did the last couple of years was just so centralized that then more centralized and then more and more centralized, which is the opposite of, and it's like a control economy, right? And the opposite of that was Bitcoin is permissionless, and it gives us like a real chance to become self-sustaining and self-sovereignty of our money and assets. So because I had that bad experience, I came to Bitcoin, right? Because of Bitcoin ethos. But when I showed up to Bitcoin and I started mingling with people and meeting with people, I realized that Bitcoin was no longer the innovative place it was. This was last year, right? And the interesting thing was that we have amazing ecosystem of people who all believe in the vision of a sustainable Bitcoin economy, right? It doesn't matter which Bitcoin tribe you're part of. That's the underlying like vision and mission that people are going after, that one day Bitcoin could become the check and balance or an alternative system to the traditional centralized powers. However, the small group of builders, right? However, this small group compared, if you add these people up, it's still very small compared to Ethereum. At that time, I did the back of the envelope calculation. It's less than 1% of Ethereum activity. Maybe it's 0.5% of Ethereum activity maximum, right? I'm talking about entire Bitcoin ecosystem. At that time, it's probably maybe like 1% now. But the point is, despite all the people coming together still being very insignificant, almost insignificant in numbers, right? They still did not work together. They formed into small tribes that they did not get along due to some ideological differences. Although the vision was the same, but the ideological differences did not allow people to come together, right? And as a result, the speed of innovation suffered. As I mentioned, I saw Bitcoin price drop more than percentage points than Ethereum for the first time in history last year. And in my opinion, that was the first time it wasn't actually a true store of value. At least the market didn't think so. And I thought that maybe if many of the tribes did not learn to work together, that maybe would never get to a sustainable Bitcoin economy. So I came to a realization that if we want to future-proof Bitcoin and create a sustainable economy around it, then we need to fight for it. Meaning we need to work together and cross-pollinate ideas. And only then will we be able to innovate better use case on Bitcoin. And only when we have enough valuable use case on Bitcoin to the point that it becomes integrated with our lifestyle and livelihood, will we establish a Bitcoin as a true store of value and create a sustainable Bitcoin economy. And so also, like, tribes were keeping to themselves. And hackathons at that time tend to be focused on this tech or that tech. Right? It's very like vertical, very siloed. So in short, I didn't see anyone doing anything to cultivate collaboration, right, and more innovation. And when I asked about this, I found out that there was a toxic culture of coming down on people for experimenting and innovating on Bitcoin. I found out people were bullied into not collaborating and freely innovating. And that was like just like mind-boggling to me. Like just one example was Casey. He is a creative ordinals, as everyone knows, and he started avoiding public events due to the harassment of creating ordinals, which is ridiculous since it was ordinals that in my opinion, perhaps saved Bitcoin and triggered the Bitcoin Renaissance.